Good morning. All right, Culinary 2, let's go over your assignments for the week. So let's scroll down to quarter 4, week 7, May 10th through 14th. Let's open this. First thing we're going to look at is our agenda for the next 3.5 weeks. So when you open this page, you will see that I've created an agenda just to let you know what's happening week by week until we end school. So this week, this is the week of May 10th, we are going to do 2 activities. You will have 2 assignments this week, 2 block days to work on them, so you have plenty of time to do them and do them to your best ability. We're doing a soft skills inventory, which is easy because it's all about you, and we are doing some college and career research. One thing that we are required to do in our curriculum for culinary arts is discuss careers. And help you start looking at future options for yourself. So we are going to do some college and career research this week, and then we will turn that into a small project presentation that you will end up doing for your final exam the first week of June. Next week, we're going to take a little break. At school, we are going to do some labs, and at home, you will have a cooking assignment or an alternate if needed. The following week is the last week of classes. In school, we'll be doing some end-of-year cleaning. That means we are going to work on breaking down the kitchen and getting it set up for summer. And then we're also going to have a day where we have some exam prep. And that simply means that we are going to have a day completely dedicated to pulling the information that you researched this week and putting it into a short slideshow that you will present to your classmates for your exam. Okay, so that's what's coming up. Let's go ahead and look at the 2 assignments for this week. The soft skills inventory is first. When you open this, you will see it is a lot of questions, but again, you're talking about yourself. There's no research. It's just you. You can almost treat it like a journal entry, just kind of your own thoughts about yourself and how you would respond to these questions. Now, I am taking this as an assessment grade, and partly because I want you to do a really good job and I want you to be thorough. So if you find yourself getting tired, like, oh my goodness, I can't answer any more questions about myself, take a break, okay? Take a break, come back to it. So I'm not giving you any minimum or maximum length requirements, but I do expect you to write a good little bit for me. I don't want 1-word answers. I don't want 1-sentence answers. I want to hear from you. So the questions vary. There are some questions like, let's look at the first one. When you think about your life as an adult, maybe 10 years from now, what do you want it to look like? So think about yourself at 26, 27 years old. What do you hope that your life looks like? Where will you be living? Who will you be with? What will you be doing? Will you have a career? Will you still be getting your education? Will you be in a relationship? What will your life look like? And then there's, several different questions. We start to get into some questions a little bit about employment. What character traits and skills do you think employers are looking for? Answering to the best of your ability. Now, next, there's a little ranking system. I want you to think about yourself and evaluate, in your best opinion of yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 means I never do this. This is not me. And 10 means always. Yeah, 100%. So these are some questions that are related to school but have to do with employability. Questions like, I work as hard as I can in class. Are you a 10 always? Are you a 5? Not a whole lot. Where are you at? Okay, so you're going to kind of do that ranking system. Then when we get to the green, back about careers, this of course could be a little list here. Name a couple career fields you're interested in. Maybe you don't really know what you want to do, but you think you're interested in the medical field, or you think you're interested in teaching, or whatever it might be. Okay, so you've got a couple of more questions about your future plans, future ideas, etc. So please, please, please take your time on the purple and green sections. Give me some good answers. I want to hear a lot from you. I want you to think. Thinking takes time. And then on this little orangey yellow section, just do your best to be accurate and honest with where you think you're at. Okay, so that's one assignment. And the second assignment this week is a research-based assignment, the college and career research. So you'll open this up. It looks like this. And this is research from the internet. This is also an assessment grade because it requires some digging. You have to be really, hardworking and thoughtful here. Now you can see my big red letters. Do not copy and paste. Don't do it. Now you're getting information from another source. I get that, but I don't want to see a ginormous paragraph of information that you literally just lifted off of a web page. Use your brain. read, think, analyze, make lists, okay? Rather than just copying and pasting. When I see the big copy and paste chunk, I'm going to give you a 0 and write you a note and tell you to redo it, okay? Because I'm not going to take it. So most of the stuff is easy peasy, right? You're not going to even need to copy and paste anything. So you're going to come up with 2 careers of interest. Now, this is culinary arts, and this is in our state standards, so you do have to choose one culinary related career. Anything in the field of hospitality and food service. Remember, beyond just being a chef or a pastry chef, that could mean that you are a restaurant owner. You could be a private chef. You could own a catering company. You could be an event planner, things like that, that would still put you kind of in that culinary world. And then the second career can be anything at all. Maybe being a physical therapist or a chiropractor interests you, something like that. All right, so for both careers, here's what you have to find. I'm going to show you some websites in a minute. You have to tell me a pretty detailed description of what a person in that job does. Like, what do you do as a nurse, as a private chef? Now, some of these things are going to be like, duh, everybody knows what a nurse does. Let's get a little more detailed. Let's read the information and find out really and truly on a day-to-day basis, what do you do? And what do you do that the general public doesn't know about? Right? Everyone thinks they know what a nurse does or what a teacher does, but there's a lot of things behind the scenes you might not know. Second is, what is the required education level? Do you have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree? Do you need a certificate, maybe from a trade school? Do you need a master's degree or a doctorate degree? Okay. Work location's a little tricky. What this basically means is, like, what's the setting? Are you going to be, if you're a teacher, you're probably working indoors in a classroom in a school, right? Now, if you're a nurse, you might have more options. You could work in a hospital, but you could also work in a private doctor's office, private practice. You might even work in a free clinic. You could be a traveling nurse. There's all kinds of different, interpretations of that. Hours and conditions, you know what hours means, right? Are you working 9 to 5? Are you working nights and weekends? Do you have long shifts, like maybe a firefighter has a 24-hour shift? And conditions is kind of like indoors, outdoors, a lot of sitting, a lot of standing, a lot of moving around. Is everything always the same, sitting at a desk all day, or are you experiencing some different things? Salary and wage range, I want you to look up if you can find, like, what is the average or the median or kind of the middle salary for that job. That's probably great. But you could also give me like a starting salary and an advanced salary. What do people make in that career on average? Now, it depends on a lot of factors, but just find an average for me. Job growth and outlook, I will show you where you can find this. Don't get hung up on the next 5 years. Let's just see if you can find, is the job growing? Is there a need for this type of employee? Benefits of working in the career and drawbacks, you're not going to find that on your websites. It's not going to say, here's the benefits and here's the drawbacks. That's you analyzing information. So that's you saying, okay, I've read everything I could read about a nursing career. And this is what I think are the good things about the career, and this is what I think are the bad things. So I know that just from my common knowledge that nurses get paid well, right? So the pay is great. That's a benefit. But I also know that nurses tend to work long shifts, like 12 hours. They're on their feet all the time. It's probably very exhausting. So that might be a drawback for me. And then the most helpful resource is, tell me which of these 3 websites you used to get most of this information. Now, I'll tell you, I like the BLS.gov. Okay, it's the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And if you just go to the search bar, you can pretty much find what you want. So I'm going to do teacher as my example here, because we all know what a teacher is, right? Okay, so let's look at high school teachers. Now, this website's great because it tells you a whole bunch. You can see these little tabs up here, what they do, what is their work environment, how to become one, education, for example, what is the pay. Here's the job outlook. Basically, like, is this job growing? And if you look here, what you're looking for is change. 2019 to 2029, there's a 4% change. That means 4% growth. So the job's growing slowly, but it's growing. There's still a need for teachers, right? Okay, so let's go back to pay. You can see high school teachers. This is median. That means like right middle of the line. Okay, kind of an average high school teacher salary is $62,870. That's a lot more than I make, but that's average nationwide. How to become one? Let's look at the education required: licenses, a bachelor's degree, completing student teaching, passing a background check, etc. What's the work environment like? What's the schedule like? Okay, and here's a great list of duties and things that they do. Beyond just planning lessons and teaching students and grading papers, right? There's maybe communicating with parents about students' progress, preparing students for standardized tests, right? Lots of different things you might not think about. Now, the last thing on here, 2 careers, is choosing one college, trade school, technical school, one place to get educated post high school. You're going to tell me the school's name, the name of the program that you would want to enroll in. Like maybe you would go in the nursing program at Polk State College. What are the entrance requirements? Now, Polk State, not going to have very many, but if you're looking at UCF, right, or maybe you're looking at University of Florida, there's going to be some pretty strict requirements, test scores, GPAs, things like that. Find out how much it costs to go there. I don't care if it's Ridge Tech. I don't care if it's the University of Florida. Look up the tuition. You got to know, how much money is this going to cost? What's the success rate of students? You might or might not find this. This means when students enter as a freshman, let's say 1,000 students enter their freshman year, how many actually graduate 4 years later? It's usually a fairly small number. It tends to be fairly low, maybe in the 50s or 60s, but what's the success rate of that school? What activities or organizations would you get involved in? Clubs, sports, student activities, religious groups, etc. What impressed you about the school when you looked it up? Are there any drawbacks? Maybe it's far away, maybe it's expensive, maybe the entrance requirements are tough. And then why or why not, little sentence or two, would you consider attending the school that you looked up? Okay, there's 2 great resources. You probably know College Board. Okay, College Board right here. You might have used it for SAT before. You can absolutely search colleges here. There's like a whole section on it. College search in green. And then we've got petersons.com, which is another great resource for college. And it also, Petersons is cool because, let's look, it helps like recommend colleges for you. So you can do a college search just based on the major, for example, like nursing or theater, or whatever kind of thing you're interested in. And it'll suggest great colleges for you. Okay, so both these pieces you have today, and then you have your other block day this week to get them finished. And I am available for questions. We're going to stay connected on Zoom today. So please let me know as you have questions, and I will be delighted to answer them for you. And all of this is due Sunday night, and it will again be turned into your final exam project. So thanks so much. Let me know if you have questions.